The wrist power Molinet, which is what Starsevesky recommends, which is also a little bit sporty, has the same problems with the first cut, right? It's fast, but then what's the point, I think? Like if this almost generates the same power as this, then why bother with this at all? Which, by the way, guess what happens in sport fencing, right? The Molinet actually gets abandoned entirely, because you're like, what's the point, right? So I like the elbow-powered one, which comes in like this, and this gives you definitely more cutting power. To let you like hit things harder. Okay, the last one is the one that everybody loves doing. It's the over-the-shoulder one, right? So it's a shoulder-powered one. Right? So, yeah, you can use your hips. You can use a pass. You can use an advance, and it's a big cut. Once it comes down here, we're going to talk about guards later, but it really naturally comes up. The other one you can do, again, you need room, is it goes from one shoulder, I'm Batman, to the other shoulder. Now, in a sporting context, can you see why everybody quickly ditched all but the fastest attack?
Yeah.
Because hit first and who cares? So when you guys spar each other, if you're just sparring to hit first, you'll all end up doing this. But we're not going to do that, right? We're trying to hit and not be hit. And we're trying to hit with authority. If you do that big powered Molinet, right? Go ahead and do one to work me very slowly. And I decide to poke her in the head. We will double, but guess who gets a bigger talking to? I do. Because she started that whole thing up, and I decided to ignore it and give her a little poke, a little pop to the head while I get my head clean. So when we end up fighting and sparring, we want to just be careful that we kind of use all three cuts. Or should I ever use the weak cut? Oh yeah, hell yeah. If someone is just timid and just sitting there, I'll just sort of walk up, pa! Right? Because I can do it safely, right? It doesn't cost me anything, it's fair game. Mostly though, you'll see little elbow rotations depending on which direction you're coming from. You're going to go to what it's going to look like a rapier prima, which is the blade comes out, like this. Now, high retracted is back like this. One of our earliest depictions of Western saber is this particular guard. And it can be either foot forward depending on what you're doing. So, yeah. Remember, we always want to parry in such a way that the blade goes away from our what? Hand. Because imagine your hand guard is like this, where I get really nervous. Can you block with a cross guard here? Yes. Be careful. It's not a curve. Okay. Good. Either one. One of the dirty tricks from here is if someone is in the extended guard. Now what if he passes? Right?
If he passes, you slide past.
Yeah, that goes down my throat. And it's aimed just to do that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So you can use that as bait. We saw this sword in the Italian tradition when we stick out in longa and someone wants to cut your sword, we go, pull it back. Same thing. If someone's going to try to fight your sword, then we move the sword, right? Because in sword fighting, we don't fight the sword, right? We fight the person. Fight the person. Sometimes you can go attack the sword, but it's always risky, to do that. Let's talk about mistakes that a lot of new people make. The swords are rated to cut, right? The way they're center of point of balance. So what will happen is people will be like fighting. Okay, this has a problem. In certain saber systems that are thrust heavy, or at least a lot of the thrust, that's great. It's really bad in this. As I stick my sword out here, here's how you beat this. Now put your sword on top of mine and push down. Right? I don't really have anything I can do. To cut, I have to go, right? I'm not really set up for the cut. I can't do the pop cut. I have to go all the way back up, jump in. Right? So I've taken away a lot of the advantages because this sword is better at cutting or stabbing. You can tell because it's shaped like this. So when you're fighting someone, if you start seeing them going, stop the fight. Be like, hey, you want a rapier? We can get you one. This is called an invitation. So this is when you create a guard that has an opening. And then against inexperienced fighters especially, they see the opening and go, well, aha. That guy's lazy. I'll just throw that cut in there. Experienced opponents are like, aha, that's a trap. So now we're going to go into parries. And again, most of the parries are designed to make the sword go away from your hands. Can you break the rules? Yes, of course. Right, you can. See that? Yeah, which is just as good. I usually step away from the strike. So if the strike's coming this way, I want to go that way. Right? I don't want to go into the strike. That curve can come over, right? And we have plenty of pictures of that now, of that particular attack from the 1600s all the way to the 1800s of an attack just like that, a big false edge cut, which is probably sold as a regular cut, right? Like here I come, no, you don't. Are both sides sharp? Some of these swords have what's called a yeoman, which means at the very end of this, there's like a banana shape at the end of the sword that's sharp on both sides that makes it cut a bit better. You'll see them have like almost like a feather or a teardrop shape at the end. That's it. Again, there are options. This is a personalized weapon system. This isn't like this is the way they are done. They all look quite a bit different. They're all blinked out very differently. So maybe it was sharp all the way down here. Maybe it wasn't sharpened at all. Maybe it had just a little sharp. However, I'm going to show you a sharp technique since we brought it up. That does require the curve, so we're going to do down here like this. Okay. So we did Milanese forward, and we did Milanese this way, right? You guys did it both, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they come both directions. Each time you're trying to cut off your own ear, but don't really do it. Okay. Y'all know you can throw backwards, right? Now why? Throw cut over here. I do that on purpose because this is what I'm after. Okay. Now watch what I'm going to do with the sword here, and watch what I do with my leg. It hurts. Because it doesn't seem like much, right? It's wheeling the whole way around and my body's behind it. So it goes pop. And what's amazing is if it was sharp, it would go right into the hand. You can get it just right. Boop! It's the beat, right? It goes right into the arm like that. It's a really neat technique. So to set it up though, we need to get the arm exposed. So he's going to throw a cut over here. Then boom. And that's what you do. And the deeper you go, the better. If more to the side, you're better. Yeah, so I can't do anything. Now there's something called the hellish fourth, where instead of cutting here, the Germans call it the hellish fourth, he decides to cut here. I'll let you sort of interpret why it's called hellish fourth. And then it just keeps running. And then it goes, yeah. You gotta say, yeah. Yeah. I've created an opening. This opening is the most likely attack will be an attack to my base. All right. Now we're gonna go a little bit slower because I'm gonna show you something else you can do. Easy peasy, right? Goes cut. Okay, do you notice they're together? Mm-hmm. If you try to go 1-2, what'll happen is you'll get the parry, but he's probably gonna be doing other stuff before you can do anything. Now your hand's sort of exposed and you can get funny. Ouch. I'm gonna throw the cut, and he's going to cut into my attack, and then respond with a secondary cut, but not actually. Okay. That's cross cut. That's it. Now, the problem is why I got some dirty street cred is that the Poles would just go into the fight doing that right away, right? So as we square off, right? Unless you're an Italian and you get into like a proper little guard, right? Okay, fantastic. I look like local, right? What I'm doing though is I'm throwing my cross cuts, right? Out of measure. As I'm trying to get in. Now, does everybody fight that way? Of course not. A little dirty. Do I have to be the guy who initiates the cuts? No. I can defend it, right? So as he attacks me, I do my first counter strike, and then I cut from wherever. Notice I'm still trying to get rotation. I don't want to do this one. Go ahead. Cross cut. Ta-da!